Much like current society, the PS4 is rapidly approaching death. The PS5 is set to come out by the end of this year, hopefully, and I think we can all agree that the PS4 was on top as the standard console to get throughout this generation. Almost all multi-platform games, great specs, and it's sold incredibly well. I have some problems with the system, but I'd be lying if I said I hate this thing. I mean, it's one of the reasons I even have this YouTube channel right now, as it allows me to record gameplay of games without having to do that pesky thing called investing money into a YouTube channel. This footage of Superhot? Yeah, you can thank the PS4 for this existing. And one of the most important parts of a console's success are the exclusive games that the console has. That's why no one cares about the Xbox One or Stadia. And with the console ending soon, I thought I'd look at all the exclusives for the system that I played over the years. Now, first off, no, I'm not doing every single PS4 exclusive. Sometimes I have to draw the line. And second off, I'm not doing any timed exclusive that has since gotten ports to other systems. I'm sorry, Tetris Effects, but you just don't matter anymore. I was gonna wait for Final Fantasy VII Remake to come out before making this, but it's already been confirmed to come to different systems after 1 year. And Persona 5 is just doing whatever Persona 5 is doing right now. So I'll hold out on talking about it for right now. I'm not gonna include The Last of Us because technically it was also a PS3 game. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn has been confirmed to come to PC, which is great for me because that means I don't have to talk about that stupid game that is absolute trash. That game was going at the bottom of the list anyway, so get it out of my list, you good-for-nothing pile of garbage. Also, this is my opinion, so if you thought it wasn't my opinion, then you're kinda dumb. We're going from worst to best, and after looking through my games and going to local game stores to gather up some more that I missed, our contenders are also Bloodborne. Number 9, Ratchet & Clank PS4. Ratchet & Clank PS4 is a remake of the original Ratchet & Clank because the Ratchet & Clank movie was coming out, which no one remembers because it was a pile of trash. And because it was tied to a movie, tied to the games that came out before it, it had a lot of time constraints, so it's not very good. If you haven't played the original Ratchet & Clank, go do that, but don't play this version. Half the game is missing. Most of the popular weapons aren't even from the first game, they just decided to throw in the most popular ones because of fan service. Which sounds like a good thing, but then you realize, what about all these cool, underappreciated weapons from the first game that got left out? Cutscenes are completely boring compared to the originals. Just standard gameplay is technically better than the original, but everything else has been gimped. The game doesn't even have a proper New Game Plus. It's there, but it doesn't even change the difficulty, which is like the one thing a New Game Plus is supposed to do. If you want to play the original Ratchet & Clank, get the HD collection on PS3. You get a better version of this game and 2 other great games. Number 8, Medi-evil. Medi-evil on the surface is a pretty great game. It's unique, it's got charm, it was one of the first notable games to have a deeper story than your generic character go do thing that wasn't rated M. Medi-evil would be perfect for a remake, and then it was going for a 1-for-1 remake. They absolutely nailed it. Everything in this game looks incredible. 10 out of 10 masterpiece. However, everything breaks right about here. Your sword has absolutely no range, forcing you to go close up with enemies, but their range is the same as yours, making it so it's basically impossible to fight enemies without getting hit yourself. And enemies don't go down in one hit. They'll stay kicking for a good amount of hits. Even your most basic enemies can tank a few blows. And the game repeatedly throws more than one enemy at you, making you fight them as an absolute mess. You get more weapons and health from collecting chalices and levels. The first one you get for the crossbow. This should solve the problem, right? No, it has limited ammo and you'll run out of it pretty quickly if you're using it constantly, so you're back to square one. And combine this with the frame rate drops and I couldn't take it anymore. I really wanted to like this game, but I just couldn't do it. It's so good looking, it's so unique, the soundtrack is great, but the gameplay just makes me wanna not to play it anymore. Sir Daniel, this is why you're bottom tier in PlayStation All-Stars. Number 7, Infamous Second Son. Infamous is known for having the ability to choose the good option or the bad option. There's actually abilities locked away between what path you choose. There's actual gameplay consequences for what karma you build up. You can go down the good karma abilities or the evil karma abilities. And there's actually cool gameplay mechanic that encourages replays. It's not just which ending do you want. I chose the evil path because there's an infinite boost that you get and I wanted that. Second Son is pretty good, it's well made, it's pretty fun to jump around and explore the city and everything, but there's a problem. It's an open world game, and a kinda basic open world game at that. You have the different elemental powers, but beyond that it's just kinda basic. You run around freeing regions from whatever evil force is controlling the area by destroying a set number of things that are scattered about. It's definitely good and might be on the upper end of open world games, but part of me whenever I play it just tells me to go play Just Cause 3. That game is really similar and I think I like it somewhat more with the wide variety of guns and weapons and cars that blow up and everything. And you don't have to somewhat annoyingly change abilities via broken cars or neon signs. It's a good game, I like it, but I can only really handle so much. Number 6, Uncharted 4. Uncharted 4 is a movie video game, and while I usually don't like those games, Uncharted 4 gets a pass. No one bought Uncharted 4 looking for the highest quality gameplay around. You buy it to look at the graphics, go, wow, I really do enjoy the power of the PS4. This was the game that came with my PS4 when I first got it because it's basically a glorified tech demo. These graphics look super ultra good on an actual TV. There are some action scenes and they're extremely good, but most time spent will you just be taking things slow. Congratulations, Naughty Dog, you made a game that was 100% passable. Now can you please stop overcrunching your employees? Number 5, Bloodborne. Bloodborne is a game I am not good at all. I am absolutely garbage. But from the little I did manage to work through, I can tell you that this game is really something special. The level design is top tier. It's a giant Metroidvania map and you unlock shortcuts and more secrets behind every corner. Every time you venture out, it feels like you're exploring a dangerous land filled with monsters that specifically want you dead. You learn about characters and things gradually, it makes it all more tragic when you actually realize what's going on in the story. It's so good. The combat is good, I just have absolutely no patience. It's probably the best combat out of any Sony exclusive because it wasn't made by Sony. If you have the time, the patience, and the skill to go through this, then please 100% try it, but I simply do not have those things. Number 4, Shadow of the Colossus. Let's make this clear. Shadow of the Colossus is only up this high because I'm a sucker for boss rushes. This game, you follow a boy named Wander and you make a deal with this god thing to kill 16 colossi in order to revive this dead girl. Pretty simple. I talked about this game before, so I'll keep this part brief, but this game is really annoying to play. The climbing is awful, the shaking is awful, waiting for bosses to do the right thing that you need them to do is awful. 70% of this game is a train wreck. But the times it actually works, the times when the game actually pulls you in and everything clicks, it's a masterpiece. But until you get to that point, it's a 4 out of 10. It's constantly flip-flopping, and that's easily the worst aspect of the game. The bird boss, I'd say, is easily the best boss in the game for reasons that I won't get into because they're kind of spoilery. Also, I do have to give it points for being the only PS4 exclusive I've seen that actually uses the PS4 controller's light in a way that is actually useful. It tells you if the Colossi is attacking or not based on what color it is, and it's actually really useful because in the original game, the only way you could find that out is if you were looking at the Colossus' eyes, and you can't really do that all the time. Overall, it's a good game, but it also isn't. You should play, but also never touch this ever. Number 3, Concrete Genie. Concrete Genie, at one point, was my favorite PS4 exclusive. It's just a simple puzzle platformer about painting. It's pure, it's simple, it's fun, it's unique. You use the gyro of the PS4 controller in a way that doesn't make me want to turn the game off. The first 3 hours of this game are just great, with new mechanics being added and new ways to make it paint. It's great, it's perfectly fine, and that's okay. I love platformers, I love this. In a sea of PS4 exclusives where they all have one gigantic flaw, this is just a good game all around. Until you reach the last hour. Okay, if you don't want spoilers, go to whatever time is on screen because I just really need to talk about this because this is what got it knocked down to number 3 for me. Holy fuck. Okay, so we established this is a fun puzzle platformer about painting. So what is the absolute biggest 180 in genre shift for the last 25% of the game possible you can think of? I'll give you some time because you are absolutely not gonna get this. Okay, so if you said simplified Kingdom Hearts with bullet hell elements, then you are actually a wizard. Sony cannot have a single game without shoehorning in crappy combat into it somehow. It's blah. This is like Mario Kart, but when you get halfway through the final lap, you get out of your car and are forced into a 3D beat-em-up brawler section. The combat isn't even that bad, it's just so out of place and strange. It kinda makes sense from a story standpoint, but at the same time I feel like there could have been a better way to go about it than completely switching genres. You boy, you must go and hit these light crystal core things that will get rid of the evil completely. There were already enemies you needed to sneak past. Why did you completely change the genre of the game? Like, change these fights to stealth sections like in the early game, where you need to get an important thing that will stop the darkness stuff, and then this bird guy will be a final climactic chase sequence. Like, I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas against the wall, but why did they need to change the entire genre of the game to such a 180? It's still a good game, I still highly recommend it, but wow, that last hour. Number 2, Gravity Rush 2. Gravity Rush 2, a fun, lighthearted game about controlling gravity created by the same person that directed Silent Hill 1. Gravity Rush 2 is the sequel to Gravity Rush 1, a game on the PS Vita. It got a remaster on the PS4, but I haven't played it. You control gravity and use the PS4 gyro aiming in a way that doesn't make me want to throw the game in the bin. Gravity Rush 2 is here because it focuses on a specific idea and uses it to all its worth. The world is designed around your gravity shifting abilities, as in every single area is a set of islands floating in the sky. There is a story, but I have no idea what is going on because of the callbacks to the first game and also the fact that the plot is kind of stupid to begin with. You have 3 styles of combat you can switch between: normal mode, which lets you just float around and stuff, Jupiter style, which makes you do a ton of damage but you're really slow, and lunar style, which is worthless. The combat I thought was pretty lame until I realized that you could upgrade your attacks, which I barely did throughout my entire playthrough. By the end, I only upgraded it to 16%. Wow, I'm an idiot. Overall, it's just a good, fun, great game. Also, now I'm just realizing I'm probably gonna piss off someone extremely hard for putting this weeb game that they've probably never heard of 4 places higher than Uncharted 4. Huh. Well, if that person is still here, number 1 is Spider-Man. You know why Spider-Man is here, because it's Spider-Man. We're in the golden age of media based around crossing spider and man. Insomniac, you may have made the lowest game on this list, but you definitely showed that you can make a good game. What can I say? This game just makes you feel like Spider-Man. It's a 15-hour campaign of just doing Spider-Man things. Swinging feels incredible, combat is okay. There's a ton of Spider-Man references for people that actually read comic books. Sadly, there's no references to that one issue where Peter Parker gave Mary Jane cancer from his radioactive semen. Maybe it's in the DLC. There's a reason why this game is the best-selling PS4 exclusive. I mean, it's just a solid game all around. Now, if you excuse me, I need to go back to being in quarantine because there are multiple cases of COVID-19 in my state. And if you're watching this right now, chances are I'm already on state-enforced lockdowns. Oh well.